Well, hello there, it's Christine with our cards for the Lenormand. It is the suite with the suite with the clubs in it. When you clubs, if you have a read and there's lots of clubs in it together, just like you do in a line 3, 5, 9, you would, or the small tableau with the 9 of cards, either a string or in a small tableau block, 3 by 3. If you have lots of clubs, it means that there's sort of a lot of work expected. You're not going to overcome things that easily, but there are silver linings, but there's sort of effort involved with it, or commitment as well. So I'm just going to change the cameras down to the, move that so you can see it. So here are our cards, and I've got our working deck. I don't know whether you've decided to do a working deck for yourself. I find it handy because it's one thing to know the meaning of the cards, but it's another thing when you're practicing to learn where trouble and things happen with the little nuances that come with each one. So looking at the card 6, King of Clubs, the card of confusion, not sure what's happening, uncertainty, problems, things aren't clear. It sounds like that fog you're expecting, or the clouds, a bit of doubt. You just got to that wait and see, and clouds will clear up, because most cloud cards, this card isn't that good an example. Got a couple of clouds here. Usually with the clouds cards, a good deck will have like here, we'll have like the dark side with the trouble and then clearing away. So you might have had some problem here because of the fox doing sneaky things, but the snake came and chased the clouds away, and then you've got clear clouds coming in. That's sort of how you would read that. So a good deck will have the clear one side and the other. So that's why for me, I have it written on my card deck: clouds, confusion, doubt, bad weather. If it's on the right, there's where your trouble's coming from, there's where your hardship's coming from, and on the left is relief. And that tends to be like the standard, except for maybe this deck. I know I get fussy with that, and this deck came with a book, and so and I've just grabbed it today. They use the lungs, the respiratory system, and in time it can be like a long time for clearing. And because there's this man, he's old, it can be like a sense of dementia. I must give the warning, it is not our role to start diagnosing people. We are not doctors, so always be careful if you're talking about any kind of mental or physical illness with people. But it could be, or you might want to talk about, you can use your words carefully if you have a background in these things. So I just need to clarify that at the beginning. So then we have the snake, the Queen of Clubs, card number 7, and she's sort of going for that, where she goes. It's a betrayal card. It's deception, manipulation, complications, and she can be clever and seductive. So she might be someone that sort of is nice to your face and bad behind your back, talks about you behind your back, or she plots and schemes in the workplace. You know, those people who get to know you, want you to tell you everything about your job, and then they sort of try and take your job. She's lots of things all in one. She's basically very untrustworthy. There were times when they said that she was like some old maid person that used to come and visit, but I don't know if we talk about things like that now. And she can be complications because she it's all about the snake twisting down and twists and turns. So sometimes some people might be asking about a house or something, and the snake could turn up, and it could be saying, well, maybe you need to sort of check something with the plumbing or something. So they all have lots of multiple meanings. So there's twists and roads, entanglements, but charm and flattery as well. Card 11, and the King of, not the King of Clubs, he's like the Knight of Clubs. he is the rods and the whips, and that can be arguments and chatter and discussions, and it can be legal strife, worry. It can also be a dreadful discipline. It also could be something that's repetitive. If someone's asking something, yeah, he'll probably do that more than once, because, or has he done it many times, because the rods tend to be a repetition-y thing. And it can be physical, it can be someone that's rough, but it also can be discipline in martial arts and various training things with that. But generally, in relationship readings, it generally means that there's sort of arguments and threatening discussions and the like. So card 14, which is the 9 of clubs, is the fox. And the fox is about cunning, deceit. It can also be a work card, it can be a business card. Some people use the anchor as a work card, some people use the fox. Sometimes you've got to work with cards and see what comes true for you. Even with the Lenormand, the Tarot, or any of them, you go, well, yes, I know the book says that, but for me it always seems to come up when X is happening. So you just got to use it and work what's right for you. But basically it's cunning and deceit and refers to someone who's sly and self-interested, but they also can be someone who can get ahead because they've got a cunningness together. Like these two, when the bear, he can be about money amongst other things, and that would be someone who's good with money, that was smart with money, in like that. So but often self-employed, and he can be also clever, manipulating, deceit. I tend to have the tail there. This deck has the tail there, so I sort of work where the head is what the fox faces. So that's why I would read it good with money, like that. But you have to write on your own cards which way you think it works for you. I've just learnt over the years to do different things, nuances they're called, nuances. So then we have our bear. Strength, power, authority, protection. A mother figure, you know, like a big mama bear. It can be also Papa Bear, and it also can be a diet, someone who needs to lose weight. And in some cards he's got a little bit of red look there, so some people could put him as a man with red hair, and some people will put the bear card as like in a relationship. If you're in a relationship, there's another man there, not the other woman, he would be the other man. So in some questions about affairs and things, that often can come up for that. But it also can be a nurturing energy and a saving energy. So here he is here. Personal status, he can be the lover or an ex-lover that's come into the scene as well, I've got on here. Income, finances and stability from someone older. So they've got here someone bald. I must have put that down at some stages in all my research when I was researching them. And this person, because they can sort of flare up and get angry quick. Oh, angry as a bear. So think of a lot of the times with the cards, if you sort of think of old sayings that we say, that's what comes through in divination with the tea leaves, the cards, even astrology we'll talk about. It depends on the moon and things like that. So these old terms have been used in divination for hundreds of years. We have 21, the Mountain, and he is about obstacles, delays, holding up, getting held up. As you can see, things aren't running smoothly. There's things to zigzag here and things to zigzag there. It is the 8 of clubs, card 21, and the Mountain goes on that side. It can be as simple, they can be major hold-ups, but it also can be just as simple as the traffic got held up because they were doing those light-changing things that people do, you know, with the lollipops and stuff, and you were held up 15 minutes. So it's not always dire. But it also takes perseverance, because like sometimes if you are 15 minutes late due to a road hold up, or it's like an obstacle and delay, that has made you get your destination 15 minutes later, we'll say, and then you've got to get up the stairs and rah rah rah, and so you can feel quite supported by that. Now the mice is an interesting card. That's 7 of clubs, card number 23. This card with the mice, they've got their tails, and so you're going to have to use left or right, because I might just have a look at this other deck while we're here. This is a cute little deck. It's a blue owl deck, not that one. And I don't mean to hold you up, but we'll just get there. It's good to look at different cards as well. Where are the mice? Because the mice are, it's good, they eat away at one side, and that's sort of a good thing to know. This is why I keep this little deck, because it's sort of really a little bit cool with different things on the different sides. I guess you come to realise what's true with it. Oh my hell. There's our mountain. So he comes like that. So one side of the mountain could be harder and more isolated. Here's our mice. Well, this card's not much better, is it? So in the end, you end up marking on the card, and you decide. What I have learned and what I have found to be true is that this side is what you have to lose. Well, if you lost the obstacle of the mountain, that would be cool. Everything would be straightforward. But if you had the fish, the heart there, then you could end up with someone that you care about that you may lose or have already lost. And on this side, it's what's left. So it's ironic now I've got these all laid out and I'm talking about this with the way I've written this. What would be left? You might be just left with the band of gold. Now that you've gone, there's that song. Now that you've gone, all I am left with is a band of gold. So that'll help you remember, I hope. So that will be what's left as a result. But they also can be anxiety, what's eaten away from you, and worries and things like that. With that, then we have the ring, which is our ace of clubs, and that's a nice word. It's about commitment, contracts, cycles, agreements, and marriage. It can be financial loans and things. Anything with these commitments and agreements generally involves a bit of paper, and it's a binding agreement. So, and it's also repetitive because it's like a circle going around in representation to that. So it can represent long-term partnerships or marriages in the old language. And it can be a chronic illness if it's a health question, but as I said, just be a little bit careful before you tackle anything like that with that. And so the ring and the anchor would be a long-term commitment or a job that's going to take a long time. You've got a work contract and someone says, oh, well, how long do you think you'll be doing that contract? If you had the anchor there, you would say, well, it's a bit of a long-term work contract. And then finally, card 36, the 6 of clubs, we have the cross. And the cross is all about burdens, hardship, sadness. Think of what the cross is. You can sort of think about those pictures in the churches where Jesus is carrying the cross, a cross to bear, all those sayings and things like that. But it also can be the cross of protection and something. Generally you have to work through whatever the cross is bringing. And I've got here that on the left, the cross pulls it in. And you've got to work through the pain to come out the other side. It can be a bad spirit. If you're doing any work with spirits, it can be a feeling of guilt. And it can be a feeling of compromise that you're sort of not altogether happy with. So there are the cards. Now we can do some mixes up with these. Sorry, I got all the decks everywhere, but it gets confusing because not one deck is really perfect. And I often don't use this little deck because it's so small. But then again, I had to sort of show a point. It was good to do that. And then, as I said, I've got the working deck. And I think it's good if you're learning and you write that out. It makes it very affordable and you can do excellent readings for yourself. And my tip is to always record your readings so you can look back on them. So here we have clouds and snake. This is confusion, as I said before, because of this cunning person coming in, sweet talking to you, and then things start to go belly up and you're wondering where wasn't that an interesting turn of events, because that person was so nice to me in the beginning and then they've turned around and backstabbed me, so they are untrustworthy. If you get the rods with the fox, that can be conflicts and argument and deceit. But it can be work related, because remember I said the fox can be a work card, or someone being sly and cunning and doing a little bit of trickery. Maybe someone hasn't told you the whole story and they're keeping bits to themselves. We have the bear and the mountain. Put them there, put them there, put them there. We have powerful obstacles and challenges. So you've got this obstacle and the challenge, but someone's going to come and help you. Someone's going to come in charge that's going to be able to organise things, whatever struggle that you're facing, or whatever's causing delay. That could be the police coming, that could be people from the military, or the firemen, roadwork people to help, anything like that. Someone in authority that's going to help with the delay and the challenge of whatever's causing in the mountain, assuming you're in a car, but it also could be any other challenge. Maybe there is a problem that you need to talk to someone with more authority that knows and has experience that can maybe give you some guidance with that. Then we have the mice and the rings, and this is stress over a contract. Am I going to get the housing contract come through? I've put in for a home loan, we've found the house we want, we've applied for the bank, everything, the boxes are ticked, but you still can't help but worrying about it, because until you get that little contract, things aren't safe as houses, as they say. It can indicate a, as I said before, well, now that you've gone, all that's left with the house, what did I say? I had the heart there, didn't I? Now that you're gone, all that's left is the band of gold. So that could be stressful too, what's going to be left in that other example I gave. And then we have, I'll bring the lady and the man in, because the lady, the cross and the lady can be burdens and spiritual challenges that this person's facing, and they're wanting to turn their back on it because it's too much. It's too much. And they're wanting to look the other way and avoid it because the burden is just too much, and then you think, well, what will help them? Nothing much will help them in this card, because they've got to work through it. Maybe the man could come along and help with that one. I've got to find the rest of the cards. So if we have the snake and rods, that would be deceit, finding out about lies and then taking someone on over it. Look, I knew you were fibbing to me, or you didn't tell me the whole truth, or you were manipulating everything, and it's not the first time you've done it. It can be like that. And the mountain and the mice is also worried, a long-term stress. As I said, see, these are quite nasty cards, and they're cards that you have to just work through, and you're going to have to take a lot of mental challenge and positiveness and being grounded and helping yourself in the mind to get through some of these things, this burden, but you do get through it with it. It's something that can be worked through. And then we had the lady and the snake. What's going on with her? Oh, this is a deceitful woman, but she's a woman anyway, so she might be in a female workplace creating problems. Some workplaces where you can't say this anymore, but when I was nursing in the 70s, we used to say nursing's very bitchy because it was too much of a woman industry. But I don't think we're allowed to say that anymore, but there's sort of competitiveness with it. So there are our cards, and I thought I would ask some questions, but I need to just tidy up where we got here. So with Lenormand, it's all about the question. Just making sure you can see on the camera what I'm doing, because it's a little bit dark, isn't it? So if we have the snake and the fox, who or what is causing deceptions in my life? So snake and fox is a cunning person who's very self-interested and has their own motives and deceitful, and they are creating complications. Bear and snake is this powerful authority person in a protective role, or are they being acting like they're going to help you, but they're really deceptive and manipulative? So if you have, what should I do with my current relationship or partnership, a business partnership, which would be ring, commitment, but then you get the clouds. These ones don't clear in that. There could be some confusion. Initially, there's been confusion, and you could talk in the past, but because that's like the clearing light, then you could say, well, it's going to clear, and you need to talk about it and clear the air, so to speak. That's why we use that saying. And when we have snake and ring, where's our ring and our snake? There she is. This is really a manipulative situation, and it's affecting your way you want to commit, because you're just not sure, because there could be some trust issues with that coming up in a question. And so underlying issues for your personal growth. So you can use this question for the cards, because a lot of people like to use them for personal growth. So we have the bear, he can be about personal growth, and the mice is all about dealing with your anxiety. You have to talk to somebody. You have to build a sense of resilience. Address what's worrying you. If it's financial matters, go and see the bank. If it's someone bossing you, or lording over you, threatening you, then you go and see the relevant authorities and get some sort of protection that you need. When you have the cross and the lady, and you're talking about underlying issues, where is she? Man. Oh, where's that cross? Oh, there she is, and the lady. It's time to recognize your burdens and what you're facing. I would put it that way. That way, before she was turning her back on it, needed to sort of walk away this way. Lady in cross is about face your burdens and your spiritual challenges, and find ways to be able to elevate yourself above it and work through it, be that through meditation or prayer or whatever. Normally, what do you normally do when you have faced with a difficult situation to be able to get your way through it? What will help you? What do you come with to help you? And if we use the whole deck with that, we'll just do that out of interest. Have I got all the cards? Have I got the right cards? This person's faced with that. What do they come with? I'll just do a little mock reading with that. You come with the ability to be able to cut things out and find some refuge at home and communicate with someone else. Or you journal, or you write it down, or you communicate with someone else because I know he's bringing news to you, but he's going away, and so he could be communicate to people you know that will listen, who will care and care about you, because you've got the diamond and you've got, which can be challenging too, to overcome this challenge, and you come with the plate, be able to stay at home, center yourself, get grounded in the home, make your body your own home, and then communicate with others. Head out to communicate, write letters and send them out. Any form of communication is what's next with that. So there you have the cards. I hope that makes sense, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video with some spreads. Bye for now.